Kakbhushundi arrived under the banyan tree, and before beginning his story, he told his audience that if they needed any clarifications as he spoke, they were free to pose questions. Then, after mentally invoking Shri Ram, he began the story session in right earnest. Rishi Vishwamitra, accompanied by the young princes Ram and Lakshman, soon entered the forest in which the Rishi's ashram was located. Suddenly, a frightening Rakshasi named Tadaka appeared before them. Tadaka was in fact the daughter of a Gandharva, a celestial musician, and because of a curse, she had become a Rakshasi. The Rishi immediately directed Ram to shoot an arrow and kill her. Ram hesitated because she was, after all, a woman. But the Rishi explained that gender was of no relevance if one acted against dharma and the interests of society. Obediently, Ram shot an arrow and killed Tadaka in one go. And the great wonder is that having shot her, Shri Ram bestowed on her his own abode. That is precisely what Rishi Vishwamitra had wanted. On reaching the Rishi's ashram, preparations for the yajna were made. The fire had hardly been lit and the first offerings poured into it when two Rakshasas, Maareecha and Subahu, suddenly appeared. They were both the sons of Tadaka. Ram shot an ordinary arrow at Maareecha, and he was flung 800 miles away, roughly in the region of Mumbai. Then, with a fire-tipped arrow, Ram reduced Subahu to ashes. Then, for the first time after a very long period, the yajna at Rishi Vishwamitra's ashram was successfully completed. The Rishi was very pleased at Ram's handling of the three Rakshasas, and great love for Ram arose in his heart. And when you love someone, you want to give him or her everything you have. Rishi Vishwamitra placed his vast arsenal of arms and ammunitions at the disposal of the prince. He also taught Ram and Lakshman how to conquer hunger and thirst, something that was to prove to be very useful some years later. At this point, the wise owl seated on the left of Kakbhushundi had a question. Why did Shri Ram kill Tadaka and Subahu but spare Maareecha, who was only flung far away? Because, explained Kakbhushundi, Tadaka represents ignorance and Subahu represents sorrow. Ignorance implies having false hopes and expectations in life. They always give rise to sorrow. We have all experienced that. We harbor all kinds of unrealistic hopes, and then we experience disappointment, anger, sorrow, and so on. Therefore, Tadaka and Subahu must be destroyed completely. Maareecha, however, represents wrong thinking or negative thinking, and such wrong thinking can be put right. Then, looking around to see if everyone had understood, Kakbhushundi inquired, "What do you think false hopes implies?" Pat came the answer, "That I, a little tailor bird, can become as big and beautiful as a peacock." Kakbhushundi nodded approvingly. Yes, that is false hope. You can never become a peacock, and wanting to do so will only bring you sorrow. So just be the best tailor bird that you can be. That is right thinking. Then a high-spirited hawk in the audience had a question. How could Ram accept the whole arsenal of Rishi Vishwamitra? How could he wander around with all the arms and ammunition? Kakbushundi thought that that was a good question. Shri Ram certainly did not carry all these armaments around with him, he said. You see, even the weapons of Bhagwan are conscious entities. Ram simply commanded them to return to their respective locations when they were not required and to reappear instantly when he needed them. That is divine power. After defeating the three Rakshasas, Ram and Lakshman thought that their mission was over and that they would now return to Ayodhya. But Rishi Vishwamitra had other plans. He announced that they would instead proceed to Mithila, a great city where another yajna had to take place. The princes could hardly refuse, as Rishi Vishwamitra was like their father. So they got ready to set off on yet another adventure. And that adventure, said Kakbushundi, is what we will talk about in the next session.